Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you are all well, and I hope you are safe from the current pandemic. Dear students, today is our ninth lecture of business finance. With the proceed of previous lecture, today we will discuss the term loans and the leases. In the previous lecture, in lecture 8, we studied the short-term financing. We studied all the topics related to the short-term financing. Today we will discuss the term financing, that what are the term financing and what are the lease financing. Dear students, it's according to your course outline. The lecture 9 is term financing or term loans. I have added some related topics such as lease financing, which is beneficial for you guys. Therefore, I added a topic of lease financing. So it's also related to the term financing or the term loan. So let me start with the course objectives. We will study that what is the term loans, what are the term loans, what are the provisions of loan agreements. We will study equipment financing. It's also a extra topic related to the financing I have added to your course outline, which is beneficial for you, and also lease financing. These two topics are added by me. At the completion of this lecture, you will be able to know about the term loans, the provision of loan agreements, about the equipment financing, and about the lease financing. So let me start with the term financing. Term financing is a debt financing originally scheduled for repayment in more than 1 year, but generally in less than 10 years. So it's simple, it's a common sense that the term loans or the term financing is in between 1 year and 10 years. When the borrower promises to repay the loans in more than 1 year and less than 10 years, so this financing is called the term financing or term loans. These loans are term loans. And the credit is extended under a formal loan arrangement. If the credit is extendable, if the need of the borrower is not completed and he needs more funds from the credit provider, then the contract is extendable under the formal loan arrangement. Usually payments that cover both interest and principal are made quarterly, semi-annually or annually. It means that the interest and principal amount are made quarterly in the year or semi-annually. Quarterly means after every 4 months, 3 months, 90 days, or semi-annually means after 6 months, or annually after 12 months. So principal amount and interest, both of them in the term loans are paid quarterly, semi-annually or annually. So there is no restriction that you must pay the interest and principal amount annually or quarterly or semi-annually. You can easily pay. This flexibility is exists in the term loans. Cost of term loan. When the borrower borrow the term loans from the financial institutions. So what will be the cost of that term loans? The interest rate is higher than a short term loan to the same borrower. Recall from the previous lecture. In lecture 8, in short term financing, we studied that the interest rate is very low. And these are the short term financings are the less riskier than other financing. So in term loans, the interest is higher than the short term financing but lower than the long term financing. Interest rates are either fixed or variable depending on the changing market conditions. So interest rate in the term loans are either fixed, depends on the agreement of the both parties. How they become agree, either they become by the fixed interest rate or by the changeable or according to the market conditions, the interest rate will be changed. Borrower is also required to pay legal expenses, same like the short term financing. In short term financing, we also studied that loan agreement is necessary to pay the commitment fee. If there is unused portion of the borrowing, then the commitment fee will be imposed on the borrower. So we studied the commitment fee in the previous lecture, in the lecture 8, in short term financing, that commitment fees is a fee is applied, imposed on the unused portion of the borrowing. So this commitment fee is also applicable in the term loans. Cost of a term loan. Proceed. The interest rate is higher than, we studied this. Benefit of term loan. What are the benefits of term loan? The borrower can tailor a loan to their specific needs through direct negotiation with the lender. So this is a benefit of the term loan. When need arises for the borrowing of funds, for the borrowing of money under the term loan, then the borrower can negotiate directly with the financial institutions, the term loan providers. So flexibility in terms of changing needs allow the borrower to revise the loan more quickly and more easily. So this flexibility is exist in the term loans. If the needs of borrower change, there will be changes in the loan agreement. So this flexibility is exist quickly, on the spot, easily. The terms and conditions of the term loans will be changed, will be revised. Term loan financing is more readily available over time, making it a more dependable source of financing than say the capital market. So as compared to the capital market, as compared to the long term financing, it's always available, readily, easily available over time. As the need arises to borrow term loans, there are a lot of financial institutions providing term loans to the borrowers. Revolving credit agreement. We also studied this in the short term financing. It's a formal legal commitment to extend credit up to some maximum amount over a stated period of time. If the need of money, if the need of funds arised, if the need of funds extended, then under the formal agreement, under the formal and legal commitment, the credit is extended up to need of the borrower. Agreement are frequently for 3 years. Under the revolving credit agreement, the agreement is for 3 years. Actually, notes are usually 90 days. So the 3 years. But the company can renew them per the agreement. So the agreement is renewed. Agreement is extended. The basic agreement is for 3 months, for 90 days. If the need is not fulfilled, then the agreement is extendable. Most useful when funding needs are uncertain. The revolving credit agreement is most useful in the time of the need of funds. For the financial institutions, for the borrower is uncertain. If the need is certain, then they will not involve in the credit agreement, revolving credit agreement. They directly use the term loans. If the need is not certain, the need is uncertain, at that time they involve in the revolving credit agreement. Many are set up so at maturity, a borrower has the option of converting into a term loans. If the need is extended, then the borrower has option to convert the revolving credit agreement into the term loans. I mean, simple, it's also extendable. It's also meaning of the this term is extendable. Insurance companies term loans. How insurance companies make term loans? These term loans usually have final maturities in excess of 7 years. It means that insurance companies provide term loans for the 7 years. These companies do not have compensating balance. They do not have compensating balance. Recall from the previous lecture, we studied the compensating balance. Compensating balance means that you have to, the borrower has liability to provide some balance, to leave some balance of his borrowing with the lender, with the fund provider. So in the insurance companies, this facility is insurance companies that the borrower has no liability to make any compensating balance with, or leave any balance of his borrowing with the insurance company. And loans must yield a return with the risks and costs involved in making the loan. So risk is also involved in the insurance company's term loans, and the return is also involved. As such, the rate is typically higher than what a bank would charge, but the term is longer. The term is longer than the revolving credit agreement. In revolving credit agreement, we studied there is the maturity date is 3 years. In insurance companies, the term loan is for 7 years. So the interest rate is higher than the other agreements. Medium term loans. Medium term notes called MTN. Medium term notes. A corporate or government debt. Corporations also provide medium term notes, and governments also provide medium term notes. They are debt instruments that is offered to investors on a continuous basis. They are offered continuous basis to the investors. Maturities range from 9 months to 30 years or more. So these are like capital market investment. Investors invest same like the capital market investments. Shelf registration makes it practical for corporate issuers to offer small amount of MTNs to the public. So there are shelf registration. It means that there are shelves who register the MTNs when the corporations offer these MTNs to the public. Issuers include finance companies who are issuers, all finance companies such as mutual funds, pension funds companies. Banks also provide the medium term loans. Bank holding companies also provide, the companies who hold the banks, and the industrial companies. All the industrial or production companies also provide the medium term notes. They are MTN. There also exists Euro MTN, an MTN issue sold internationally. Any MTN that is sold internationally outside the country, it's called Euro MTN, whose currency the MTN is dominated. Provisions of loan agreement. What are the provisions? Loan agreement, a legal arrangement specifying the terms of a loan and the obligation of the borrower. So these are the terms of loan and the obligations of the borrowers. Covenant, a restriction on a borrower imposed by a lender. For example, the borrower must maintain a minimum amount of working capital, means compensating balance. So it's a covenant. So it's restriction on a borrower, which is imposed by the lender, that the borrower must keep a working capital amount with the lender. This allows the lender to act or warrant early when adverse development are occurring that will affect the borrowing firm. So before we studied that there is no compensating balance in the term loans, but in the case of if the borrower is defaulting, is the borrower making adverse development in the repayment of loans to the loan provider or lender, then the lender warrants the borrower to keep some money, some sum of his borrowing with the lender or fund provider. Formulation of provision. How the provisions are formulated? The important protective covenant fall into three different categories: the general provision, the routine provision, and specific provision. In general provision, most loan agreements which are usually variable to the fit to the situation. As the situation arises, the general provisions are imposed by the lender. It means that before we studied, if the borrower has adverse development in the repayment of the principal amount or interest, then they will impose provisions on the borrower. So it's depending on the situation. It's called general provision. Routine provision used in most loan agreements which are usually not variable. They are not variable. It's a routine. It's fixed. Fixed provisions are imposed by the lender to the borrower. And third category is specific provision that are used according to the situation. Also, it's same like the general provision. And these restrictions are negotiated between the borrower and lender. These are negotiable. In the time of agreement, in the time of formation of agreement, at that time, the borrower and lender can negotiate these restrictions. Maybe borrower request to decrease these provisions. So it's negotiable between both of them. Next is equipment financing. Before I told you, these topics are extra from your course outline. I have added these. These are beneficial for you guys. These are related to the financing. Equipment financing means that financing of equipments. Loans are usually extended for more than 1 year. The equipment financing loans are extended for more than 1 year. The lender evaluates the marketability and quality of equipments to determine the loanable percentage. That what will be the percentage of the loans. So it depends on the marketability and quality of the equipment. That what is the quality of the equipment and what is the marketability. Marketability of the equipment means that how this the equipment is marketed in the market. Either it's sold easily or it is not sold it easily. Repayment schedules are designed by the lender so that the market value is expected to exceed the loan balance by a given safety margin. So there will be a safety margin for the lender that he will keep with himself. That this is the safety margin for the, it means that it's a security margin for the loan provider. Trucking equipments is highly marketable. We better know about that. And the lender may advance as much as 80% of market value. Market value is provided 80% to the lender, while a limited use lathe might provide only a 40% advance, or a specific use item cannot be used as collateral. It means that collateral is not involved in the equipment financing. Security is not involved in the only the 80% of the market rate is provided in the time of agreement of the equipment financing. Sources and types of equipment financing. Sources of equipment finance are commercial banks. Always commercial banks provide equipment financing. Finance companies, all finance companies such as mutual funds, such as the pension fund companies, and seller of equipment. Seller of equipment means producers of equipments who produce the equipments, they sell the equipments, so they also provide the equipment financing. Types of equipment financing. Chattel mortgage. Chattel mortgage means a lien on specifically identified personal property, assets other than real estate, backing a loan. So they need to mortgage any personal property is secured against the equipment loans. To make legally and valid the agreement, the lien is provided to the lender. The lender files a copy of the security agreement or a financing statement with the public office in the state in which the equipment is located. So these are the types of financing. Second type of financing of the equipment financing, conditional sale contract, a means of financing provided by the seller of equipment who holds the title to it until the financing is paid off. So this is conditional sale contract. It's a mean of financing. It's a way of financing which is seller of equipment provides and the holds the title until the financing is paid off, completely paid off to the lender. The buyer signs a conditional sale contract security agreement to make installment payments, usually monthly or quarterly over time. The seller has the authority to repossess the equipment if the buyer does not meet all the terms of the contract. So if the buyer fails to make the terms and conditions on time, then the seller has the authority to repossess. It means that take back the equipment from the borrower. If the borrower fails to complete all the obligations and liabilities of the contract, the seller can sell the contract without the buyer's consent, usually to finance company or bank. Finance companies also use the equipment financing and banks also use the equipment financing of conditional sale contracts. Next topic is lease financing. The start of the lecture, I told you that two topics are added by me which are extra from your course outline. These are necessary. The next topic is lease financing, contract under which one party, the lesser owner of the asset, agrees to grant the use of the asset to another. In Pashto we can say ijara financing in exchange for periodic rental payments. In ijara they pay periodic rent for the lease financing. Example of familiar leases are the apartment. You can buy apartment and on lease. You can buy house on lease, offices on lease, automobiles. Automobiles also can be taken by lease or purchased by lease. Issues in leasing financing. There are some issues in leasing. So first advantage, use of an asset without purchasing the asset. So it's an advantage for the user or the borrower. Obligation of the lease finance, make periodic lease payments. So this obligation, liability of the borrower, the person who leases the equipment, who leases the property, he will be liable to pay periodic lease payments to the lessor. Contract specifies who maintain the asset, who will be liable for the maintenance of asset. Full service lease, lessor pays maintenance, or the net lease, lessee pays maintenance cost. The person who borrow the equipment, he will be liable to make the maintenance of that equipment. Or full service lease, the lessor, the person who provides the equipment, he will be liable for the maintenance cost. There are cancelable or non-cancelable lease also. Operating lease, short-term cancelable versus financial lease, long-term and non-cancelable. One type is operating lease, which is short-term and it's cancelable. And one type is a financial lease, which is long term and non cancelable. You cannot cancel the lease. Option, it expires to lessee. There are options to expiration to lessee. If the lessee expired, the time is expired, then it's given back to the owner of the equipment or property. Types of leasing: sales and leaseback. The sale of an asset with the agreement to immediately lease it back for an extended period of time. So it's a one type of lease. As the time of lease completed, it's offer from the lessor that you can automatically purchase the lease equipment or lease property. There may be a tax advantage as land is not depreciable. So if the land is given to lease, so the lessee has an advantage that he will not pay any tax to the government because the land is not depreciable. But the entire lease payment is a deductible from expense. So tax expense is deductible. Lessors, insurance companies who are lessors who will provide the lease financing. The insurance companies also provide lease financing. Institutional investors, the investors who invest in institutions, who they also provide lease financing. Finance companies such as mutual funds and pension funds, and independent companies. Independent companies mean producers, the industrial companies. So they also provide lease finance. Types of leasing: direct leasing. And in direct leasing, a firm acquires the use of an asset it did not previously own. So it's first time the leasing is called direct leasing. The firm often leases an asset directly from a manufacturer. A firm is able and he has right to lease any type of equipment from the manufacturer, such as IBM leases computers and Xerox leases copiers. Lessors, who are lessors? Manufacturers, finance companies, banks, independent leasing companies, special purpose leasing companies, and partnership. All these are the lessors. Leverage leasing: a lease arrangement in which the lessor provides an equity portion, usually 20 to 40%. They also provide equity portion of their lease up to 40% of the leased assets cost, and third party lender provide the balance of the financing. Popular for big ticket assets such as aircraft use the leverage leasing, oil rigs, and the railway equipments. They are a big, huge type of leasing. The role of the lessor change is the lessor is borrowing funds itself to finance the lease for the lessee. Hence, leveraged leasing. So this was your today's lecture. I hope you got plenty of knowledge regarding the term financing, regarding the lease financing, regarding the equipment financing. So these were very easy. Maybe possible you are familiar with all these in your life. You have practically enjoyed the term financing, the lease financing, the equipment financing. Maybe possible most of your class fellows maybe possible use the term financing, the lease financing in their businesses. So this was your today's lecture. I hope you got knowledge about all these terms, all these terminologies. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.